Okay, so this is sort of the opening salvo in what I'm hoping is going to be at least a little bit of an attention getter, because I'm kind of fascinated watching these guys on YouTube with their gambling channels and their what you might call Plan G, where they lose a shitload of money but they get it all back plus a little bit more from Google for all the hits that they get on their channels. But fascinated to watch them because they basically, what I have to say is they play very badly. They play exactly the way that the casinos want people to play. They sort of hurl money around like it's going out of style. They bet emotionally. They bet sort of stressfully sometimes. They bet stupidly quite a lot of the time. They don't have any kind of science or method or strategy or anything like that behind them. Basically, they're in the business, and I do understand this, they're in the business of creating drama and excitement because their job, let's face it, is to attract more people into casinos, specifically casinos in Las Vegas, but elsewhere too. So I mean, let's be fair. But anyway, I'm calling this the sort of the opening thing because I've been tracking Mr. Handpay and his adventures in blackjack, mostly blackjack, over the last, God heavens, it's since the 15th of March. So it's, what is it now? It's 10 months, isn't it? And it's around 2,000 outcomes overall. And he's done very well. So I'm not really happy with the data set that I've transcribed from Mr. Handpay because it's a little bit too much on the lucky side. If you look here, for instance, this is like the first, I don't know, 600 rounds, and it was pretty much standard. Then a horrible dip, which again happens. And then he started to just very steadily keep on going up and up and up and up. So that at about the end of his sample, he's well ahead of the house. He's doing really quite well. So even though I'm offering this right now as being an example of what I intend to do going forward, I'm going to be looking for sessions where these professionals get their asses kicked. Because the challenge for pattern betting is to demonstrate as simply as possible and as effectively as possible that it doesn't matter if you lose more bets than you win, as long as you win more on average when you win than you lose on average when you lose. So, for instance, for these 2,000 and some odd 2,040 bets, average win of 1,940, average loss of 1,630, which is not a huge difference. It's 119%. But of course, a lot of the time, it's been pretty soft, pretty easy, you know? But as I said, going forward, what I'm going to make sure that I do is look for professional sessions that are bad for the pros, whoever it might be, and I'm looking particularly to Jason Bulkey, Mr. Handpay, Vegas Matt Morrow. I'm not sure about Cody Burnett because he is so hard to watch because he's so crazy. But I mean, he's got a big audience. He's obviously attracting people who like his style and like his madness and like his tantrums and screaming and effing and blinding and all the rest of it. It's not it's not to my taste, I must confess. But there we are. To each his own, as they say. Brandon O'Brien, I have the same problem with him as I do with Jason, in that he seems to me to be exceptionally lucky for somebody who is betting a very tight spread. I mean, like Brandon doesn't usually bet less than 50, and he doesn't usually bet more than 500. So that's a 1 to 10 spread, which is very, very narrow, and I think doomed to fail. But I'm not attacking anybody with these presentations of mine. Well, with some exceptions, I certainly have attacked Dana White, but I just think that he's insulted all of us with some of the bullshit that he came out in one of his interviews. The one about winning over $1 million at one casino, 23 sessions in a row. I'm sort of thinking, Christ, you need to be in the Guinness Book of Records, man, and you also need to be alongside your buddy King Kong in the in what has now become the Halfwit House in DC. Because he is all his life he's told tall tales like Dana's, and I guess it's a free country, it's a free world. Dana White can tell you whatever he wants to tell you, and you can believe it or not. And exactly the same applies to what I'm doing here. You can assume that I'm some kind of a Looney Tune liar, charlatan, whatever, or you can learn from what I'm doing. Down here is the win-loss pattern for these 2,000 rounds, and it's a bit frustrating because normally I like it when the downs are in red and the ups are in green. But the impression is there, the graphic is there. You can see that it's pretty much, as we all know, blackjack is basically a coin toss. What wipes people out is the sessions where they get basically bled white because their bankrolls are too tiny. Okay. So what you've got with with the sort of the flat AV, actual value, is rising very oddly, very rapidly over a very long period of time, from 801 to that's around 2000, isn't it? So that's 1,200 bets, which is basically all going Jason's way. So I'm not wild about that, but I sort of lost my drift there, because what I'm trying to say is that Cody is he's a bit much for me, but he has every right to be the way he is, and I don't mean to slag anybody off. I just I will get a little bit sort of upset if I think that somebody's trying to con me, because they're trying to con you too. I'm not conning anybody, but that's for you to decide. Looking at this column here, I've made these a little bit more sophisticated because they do tell us a reasonable amount about how we achieve turnaround. We get to turnaround with pattern betting, which I also love to call wintelligence, but I'm a little nervous about it because I know some smart guy in Australia thought of that name before me. Here's the next one, -10 and +3. We still managed to win 4,725. We should have lost, given a house advantage in that particular set of 44%. We should have had our asses kicked, but we didn't. We got lucky. We got a turnaround with a triple win at 2,000. So that was something else. Let me see. Next one, -9.3. You get the flavor of these things a little bit, all of this stuff is verifiable. All of these outcomes are verifiable on Jason's channel. That's at -13 +6. That was another ass kick, but we won 4,500 again because we got a double down at 4,000, which is nice. Down a bit further, -17 +8. That was a bastard, wasn't it? House advantage of 31%. Wait a minute, what's it saying there? It's saying 1 -9,000 whatever. That's not right. I think there's a mistake in there somewhere. I see. Idiot. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Can't get good help these days. Control H. Alexa, stop.
This is a reminder.
See, it didn't work, did it? I turned her off and it didn't work. She rules the damn roost. That's the problem. Okay, it didn't catch the turnaround. That's what happened there. My bad. Seemed a bit odd that I would put that there and it's a loser. But anyway, the indicated loss was, or an indicated result, and you get that by multiplying the action there by this figure here, 22,500. Instead, we won a paltry 425, but that's better than a poke in the eye with a pointed stick, or a blunt stick, as Vegas Matt prefers to say. Next one, minus 44, plus 39. House edge of 5.3%. Huge, long, nasty. We ended up with 3,750. The action was 730,000. Christ on a bicycle. But we came out of it, and that's what the whole thing is about, guys. I mean, that's what it's for. What else can I tell you? Number 7, 79 to 77. Again, we're sort of like, kind of a nasty place with this. But if you persist, if you believe, if you hang in, you will turn around eventually, because it's just a question of waiting out the nasties with a bankroll that's big enough. It's like I always say, if you can't afford to win, you shouldn't play. And, that's really my message. What do we get here? This is a bad one, I guess. Minus 17 plus 6, we came out with, in spite of a house advantage of 39%, we came out with a win of 1,125. And again, that was because we got lucky here with a maximum bet double down. So that was great. Lots of people seem to think that numbers take all the fun out of these games. I actually think quite differently. I think that winning is fun, losing is not. As you can see here, we got into a nasty state down here. The worst case scenario, WCS up there, 104,000. But the actual exposure, our bankroll, was actually only out 438. That's unusual. I think the nasty one was just here, sort of right towards the end, and then suddenly we had this burst here of just win, 11 wins in a row. That happens. It really does. So, it's the old story. Take it or leave it. But I'm looking forward to doing replays. I'm just about to do one from Mr. Handpay, Jason, because he has probably the longest blackjack sessions. I don't like it when he goes for these games, these variations like Dealer 22 is a push, or Spanish 21, which is where they take out all the tens. And I have the same problem with Brandon O'Brien over that. I mean, he plays Spanish 21, as they insist on calling it, quite a lot. And, I'm not a fan of card counting at all. I've been doing a little bit of analysis with card counting lately, and it does not look good. I'd love to know what the reaction of Colin at Blackjack Apprenticeship is to that, but I think that it would ruffle his feathers more than somewhat. So I think I'm going to keep my head down and just hope he doesn't discover my posts on that, because it really does look very bad for card counting. And the Wizards sim is brilliant at counting, doing the true count and the running count. So I've got no quarrel with that whatsoever. But anyway, there we are. That's the story. I'm 15 minutes in, so I'll stop now and put this up. And, like I always say, take it or leave it.